kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels slow, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Welcome everybody to Sim Racing Media, home to one of the longest running leagues on the iRacing circuit, the Western States Racing League. After a few of the more challenging racetracks, we head to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Last week we were left in awe of the domination of Christian Bishop. Was able to once again display on the road course at Watkins Glen. He led 25 laps. Bentley Glazer was able to hang on and finished in second. Bentley Glazer started on the pole, but it was relatively quickly overtaken by Christian Bishop there, and Bishop went on to lead the most laps and basically get as many points as he could. After Bentley Glazer, Jeff Schmeier was able to bring home a third place finish and continue his progression in the points. The last time Western States Racing League was here at Atlanta, Bentley Glazer was able to lead 61 laps after starting back in the middle of the field. But that was the old Atlanta. So we'll see if the new configuration is going to change the way that these trucks drive and the strategy. They reconfigured this racetrack in order to promote more of the super speedway style of racing. They changed the banking from 24 to 28 in the corners, and they made the front stretch wider. So you're going to see faster speeds and a lot more of that drafting action that you would see at like Daytona or Talladega. But while they're going through this, let's go ahead and take a look here at the points. Bentley Glazer is up on top with 427. Ryan Steele with 423. Jeff Schmeier, 418. Brian Barnes with 405. Bob Beltrami, 395. Jeff Hollinsworth, 392. Kyle McCartney, 337. Rob Gall, 334. Charles Woods, 308. Wayne Hutchinson will round out the top 10 with 293. And Christian Bishop, after his 2 road wins in the last 3 weeks, moved up his points to 290. So he is definitely on the move if he can transfer his road racing into the super speedway style. Looks like they're getting about ready to begin qualifying here. We'll let them get ready. Take a look at the race info. So it is round number 12 here. A mile and a half. Track temperature is 131. Weather 79 degrees. So it's definitely going to be a little, probably a little slick. So you probably see some sliding coming out of 4 a little bit and maybe even onto the backstretch. So it is one of the, well, it is the first mile and a half track that has that deeper style banking, which will lead to faster speeds. So we'll see who can turn those faster speeds and drafting into a pole and maybe a win at the end of this race. We are in for 104 laps. They have 4 tire sets and 3 green-white checkers if we get that far. Alan Bergen's one of the first ones on track. Like Ryan Steele's getting close to finishing his first lap. Earl Weaver already completed his first lap with a 32.49. Ryan Steele and Alan Bergen just behind him in a 32.78 and 32.83. Wayne Hutchinson, 32.89. I'd imagine we're going to see faster laps once they get around this track the first time, and that second lap should be a lot faster. These guys were out definitely putting in the work in this practice session they had before this race, and we should definitely see some good hard racing. They were studying this track pretty well. Beth Mills in the chat, cheering for Meyer there. Like Ryan Steele jumps up on his second lap through a 32.30. Jeff Hollinsworth with a 32.28. James Campbell, a 32.55. While we got a minute, let's welcome back Paul Krumrei. He's been gone the last couple weeks, been hanging out and chat with us, but glad to see him back out on the track. Charles Woods completing his second lap of the 32.33. Roy Campbell with the 32.97. Roy Campbell at 32.40. Javier Perez Torres with a 32.55. Bentley Glazer a 32.80 on his first lap. Christian Bishop a 33.02. Definitely want to get that one down a little bit. Carl Burke a 32.56 his first time round. Paul Crumray with a 32.32. Bentley Glazer jumps up to pole with a 32.27. Wayne Fleet just out on track. Carl Burke just finishing up lap number 2. And he will improve his time to a 32.40. Brian Barnes looking to get his second one down. First one was a 32.81. Let's see if he can improve on that as he comes towards the start-finish line, drives down almost through the apron there to get as much time as he can. And he did. He just jumped up to pole position with a 32.26. So all these guys are just flying around this track. Now Barry Phil got his first lap in at a 32.71. Looking to improve a little bit on there. Wayne Fleet just completing his first lap, 32.57. Julian Ricci a 32.40. Looks like he's got this track figured out. Probably one of the faster first laps we've seen. Jeff Schmeier is out on track, working his way through his warm-up lap. Ricci just finished his second one with a 32.34, so didn't quite find the gains that he was looking for in that second lap. Jeff Schmeier, 3/4 of the way through his. Running it almost as high as he can to try and get some speed off that banking. First lap for Schmeier is a 32.99. Chad Stearns' first lap is a 32.40. Rob Gall with a 32.54 for his first one. Dustin Burns finishing up lap number 2 here. He's going to go 33.07. Jeff Schmeier finished his second lap at 32.28. Chad Stearns with a 32.31. Rob Gall a 32.30. That just leaves like 4 guys left to go. Dustin Burns is 33.07. So definitely not the qualifying lap he wanted to throw down. Looks like we're waiting on Bob Beltrami, Dennis Fusion, Kyle McCartney, and Ross Rollins. I'm sure some of you know and heard about how iRacing was helping NASCAR actually design and this new repave. But something cool to think about is even in the virtual world, they're kind of moving outside the box to really can tinker and try and figure out what's the best option for racetracks. Like we got about a minute left in qualifying, so I don't think anybody else is going to take that qualifying lap. So, but we got 28 entries tonight. One of the bigger fields we've seen over the last couple weeks after we went from Road America to Hickory to Watkins Glen. Yeah, Brian Barnes is sitting up on pole with a 32.26. Let these guys get ready to grid here in a couple seconds. But if you're in the YouTube chat, definitely shout out who you want me to maybe take another look at, get a little more camera time. Let's see. Go over the grid real quick. We've got let's get a couple more guys in here. We got Brian Barnes threw down a dynamite qualifying lap. Bentley Glazer just to his outside. Jeff Hollingsworth and Jeff Schmeier in row 2. Row 3. Row 3 is Ryan Steele and Rob Gall. Row 4 is Wayne Hutchinson and Chad Stearns. Row 5 is Fred Williams and Paul Krumrei. And row 6 is Charles Woods, Julian Ricci. 13th is David Weaver and Earl Weaver. Those two guys threw down a ton of laps in the practice session. Row 8, we got Christian Bishop and Troy Campbell. Row 9, Carl Burke and James Campbell. 19th is Angelo Espo in the Jets Chevy. Wayne Fleet. Wayne Fleet and Alan Bergen. Javier Perez Torres rolls off in 22nd. Barry Field and Dustin Barnes. Then we got the trucks that didn't make that qualifying lap. And Bob Beltrami, Ross Rollins, Kyle McCartney, and Dennis Fusion. That is the starting lineup as we go here. Take another look here at the race info. 1 mile and a half, 132 degrees Fahrenheit track temperature. Ambient air 79, and we're set for 104 laps. So we will be seeing some slick tires. Probably not quite at the beginning, but as soon as they start heating up, you have hot tires, you have hot track. They're definitely going to have to work to keep that truck under them a little bit, I believe. They do have one fast repair, 4 tire sets. As they make their way out of turn 4, head to the Geico restart zone. Brian Barnes has the button, and he is away. Bentley Glazer just to his outside, as we are still side by side. Looks like Jeff Schmeier almost got right to the back end of Glazer there, but not quite. As they fall into line here, Brian Barnes, Bentley Glazer, and Jeff Schmeier. Jeff Hollinsworth just behind them. And then kind of out in the middle is Rob Gall. And then we're 2x2 with Ryan Steele and Chad Stearns there. Wayne Hutchinson in between them. Crumry and Williams. Brian Barnes elects to hop out to the outside lane and float back in the field a little ways. Looks like he's trying to figure out where he wants to jump in line there. But as I'm looking back through the field, Carl Burke here threw down a 30.96 lap that time, which is the fastest of the race. Everyone else is running 31s. Greg in the YouTube chat says we need to watch out for that 18 truck back here of Kyle McCartney. Now, Kyle McCartney is usually one of the stronger runners in this series, so definitely somebody to keep your eye on. But Brian Barnes is still stuck on that outside line. Looks like he's got Chad Stearns in the 05 behind him, with Crumry right behind him. They're still side by side. Brian Barnes and Rob Galder. The outside line's working a little bit. As Jeff Schmeier has had enough of sitting behind Bentley Glazer and moves to the high side. It looks like Brian Barnes is coming right with him. Gets right to his back bumper, going to try and give him a little shove to get to the lead, and it looks like he will get that lap led. For Schmeier and Glazer side by side up front, with Hollinsworth and Brian Barnes right behind them. Looks like Barnes keeps floating out just a little bit to try and get some fresh air on the nose of that truck. Rob Gall and Chad Stearns are side by side with looks like Ryan Steele and Paul Crumry. Yeah, Greg, I definitely agree. After they did that repave, they made it a 1.5 mile super speedway almost. Outdoor Cast Iron Cooking is cheering for Big Daddy number 53, Carl Burke. He's back here in 13th, up 4 positions from where he started after not throwing down a terrible qualifying lap. So we're 2 by 2 after the first couple. That outside line was right next to him, but I don't think they have enough momentum to maintain that speed. But if one of these other trucks hops out in front, they'll probably pull Jeff Schmeier and Brian Barnes back up towards the front as they make their way around this track. As you see Rob Gall jump out to the outside lane, and Jeff Schmeier pushing him up there a little ways, and they're starting to make ground again. These guys are definitely trying to put on a show up here. Side by side through like 10. Jeff Schmeier goes around. Go back and take a look here. Let's see if we can get this. Come back here. So here they go. Coming out of the start finish line there, heading towards turn 1. And looks like Brian Barnes slides down just a little bit, and it looks like netcode slams Jeff Schmeier up the track. Schmeier gets into Fred Williams, Julian Ricci, Carl Burke, Brian Barnes, Paul Kermery. Man. Nowhere for almost anybody to go. We got Charles Woods, Christian Bishop, Paul Kermery, Alan Bergen, Troy Campbell, Barry Field, Angelo Espo, Fred Williams, and Carl Burke, all in the pits after that. Like Jeff Schmeier pitted as well, Christian Bishop, Brian Barnes. So yeah, looking back at that, didn't really look like there was any real contact, but that's sometimes what you get when you're racing here on iRacing. So we're through 12 laps. And after all of those pit stops and damages and all that stuff, our biggest mover right now is the 91 here of Ross Rawlins. Ross Rawlins is up 18 positions. Another couple honorable mentions are that 18 truck of Kyle McCartney, up 17. These guys are getting set up. We'll go back and take a look. Let's go back to back here. So there you go. Barely touch and just throws the 4 into the 31. Goes back down the track, hits Fred Williams, Julian Ricci, Carl Burke, Torres was there involved too. So they are back lined up here. We got Bentley Glazer, Jeff Hollinsworth on the front row. Glazer has the button as they head to the Geico restart zone. And he is down and away. Rob Gall got a pretty good jump and is probably going to get to the inside of Jeff Hollinsworth. I don't know if he has enough to work his way through there and get in front of Hollinsworth there. Yeah, it looks like he just has enough room and slides up in front of Hollinsworth. Hollinsworth elected to drop back down. Glazer drops down in front of Hollinsworth and is going to give him a little bit of a tow. Rob Gall's still stuck on that outside. And he is going backwards now. See if Torres jumps up and helps him. Looks like he might do that there as they get closer. Earl Weaver also looks like he's kind of driving in the middle. Not sure what lane to go to. James Campbell was about doing the same. I got Ryan Steele. David Weaver. David Weaver put in the work in this practice session, though. He was out turning laps. I think he ran the most laps of anybody today. Bob Beltrami up 14 positions after not qualifying. Dustin Burns just behind him. Pole setter Brian Barnes currently back in 13th position with Jeff Schmeier right behind him. Looks like they're going to try and work their way around the lap car of Charles Woods there. The 18 of Kyle McCartney up 12 positions at the moment, sitting in P15. So back up front, we're still side-by-side racing. We got Dennis Fusion and Torres side-by-side. Rob Gall was thinking about diving down into that bottom lane, but not enough room there for him. So Glazer and Hollinsworth are showing the way through lap 18. Wayne Hutchinson sitting it back in third with Rob Gall just to his outside. You can see that since this new repave, they're definitely doing this super speedway style racing. Definitely going to be more of a who makes the last move type of win, I believe, because if you can get a run on that outside lane with a couple cars, definitely could be a close finish there. Let's go back through the field a little bit. Dennis Fusion, Javier Perez Torres, Earl Weaver, James Campbell, David Weaver, Bob Beltrami. Rounds out the top 10 here. So we're through 20 laps of 104. There's still a long way to go. It looks like if people came in, I'd imagine they all took tires that time, even though it's only been 10 laps, but they were sliding around a little bit. They'll have a couple sets left. We'll see if they split this race into 3 sections, or if we're gonna try and split it more closely to half. But we'll find out shortly when they combine about 12 laps or so. Wayne Hutchinson jumped out to that outside line and is trying to get a run with Rob Gall and Torres there, but they are not close enough yet to get that push. that inside line has, as the inside line gets a little bit out of shape with Dennis Fusion having a run and hops outside in front of Wayne Hutchinson. You have Wayne Hutchinson and Dennis Fusion on the outside, Glazer and Hollinsworth on the inside, and Earl Weaver is sitting back in third on the bottom with Rob Gall third on the top. If that top line can get these 4 trucks hooked up, I think they're going to be a little bit faster than that bottom line and get everybody able to clear them. But they doesn't look like they can stay close enough to do that. Glazer and Hollinsworth are almost bumper to bumper, but that top side keeps getting a little bit of that almost accordion effect. As the one goes a little bit high, the other one goes high, and then it kind of bounces back low, and then the gap just kind of grows a little bit between them. Rob Gall jumps down to the inside, is going to get behind the 46 of Earl Weaver. Oh, Hutchinson is going around, but he's able to save it. Let's jump back and take a look at that. Hang on one second here. We'll take a look from Torres here. Jump on the cab view here. See what he was seeing. You can see Hutchinson just in front of him. And you're just going to see just a little bit of touch. And they all stay going the same direction. Might have lost a little bit of ground, but they are still green and going. Oh. As Earl Weaver just creamed that wall coming into the front stretch there. They all lost that draft there a little bit, so looks like it kind of scared him into going a little bit more single file. This Bentley Glazer is now coming up on a lap truck. Like he's trying to figure out the way around him. Like that's the 6 of Alan Bergen or Wayne Fleet. Wayne Fleet. It looks like he's trying to stay down and stay out of the way. So we got Bentley Glazer, Dennis Fusion, Rob Gall, and Wayne Hutchinson. After that little bit of scary incident there, is still sitting in P4. Jeff Hollinsworth in P5, and Torres, having himself a day here right now, is up 16 positions, sitting in P6. As the 6 truck slides up the track a little bit. But these 6 lead trucks are around him and are gonna stack it up again and go 2 by 2. And we got a pretty big gap back to David Weaver. He's leading this second group. David Weaver, Bob Beltrami, Brian Steele, Kyle McCartney are battling out a little bit side by side. James Campbell back there a little ways. Like they're intermixed with quite a few lap cars. But Bob Beltrami, David Weaver back and take a look here. Kind of down on the bottom. Oh. Whoa. I know I probably shouldn't do this, but we're going to do it anyway. He's going to go on board. Go on board. Staying down below that red line. Comes up on track. And all of a sudden he's going to get touched. And he goes for a ride. So he is sitting on pit road there. And we are under caution for the second time here. Looks like everybody's hitting pit road. So it's about basically a third of the way done. Like Dustin Barnes. Is in and out. Christian Bishop. Like he stayed out. Brian Barnes. Brian Barnes is going to like take over the lead here. Last pitted on lap 10. So he can make it a few more laps at least. Christian Bishop's in the pits. Ross Rollins is in the pits. Dave Weaver, Troy Campbell, and Fred Williams have been in the pits for quite a while here. Brian Barnes is going to hit pit road. That will give the lead to Brian Steele. Brian Steele looks like he only took right side tires, maybe. He's only in his pit stall for under 8 seconds. Was his second pit stop of the day. So when we go green, we'll be working on lap 35. Stack back up here. Brian Steele will have the button as they make their way out of turn 4 here. Bentley Glazer just to his outside. Dennis Fusion, row 2 with Jeff Hollinsworth to his outside. Brian Steele is down and away, gets a pretty good jump. Bentley Glazer is right on his outside. Looks like Hollinsworth is staying relatively close to Glazer there. Fusion and Hutchinson are hooked up and looks like they're going to try and give Brian Steele a push. But Bentley Glazer gets pushed out front from Hollinsworth there. And Glazer almost leaves Hollinsworth out to dry a little bit as he starts to fall back. Rob Gall and Bob Beltrami closing in, and what is that we see now? is that 18 truck of Kyle McCartney making his way towards the front, up 18 positions. So these guys are definitely on the move. Dennis Fusion up 24. So it looks like Hollinsworth and Glazer are working pretty well together. And we have Gall and Fusion on the outside. Ryan Steele with Hutchinson and Torres behind him. But those two trucks on that bottom line seem to still have the advantage right at the moment, unless they can get that outside lane hooked up and pushing their way to the front. But oh, looks like we have a crash here. Go back here and take a look here. Back towards the back of the field, it looks like. Carl Burke on the outside. Julian Ricci stacks him up a little bit. Carl Burke gets into the back of the 46 of Earl Weaver. Earl Weaver spins in front of James Campbell. But that is what brought out the caution. They get these high speeds and a little bit of contact, and that's what happens. But while we have a minute, I'm going to go ahead and step away and pay some bills. Once again, this is Sim Racing Media, home tonight of the Western States Racing League. Round number 12 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. If you're in the YouTube chat, definitely subscribe, turn on bell notifications, that way you don't miss anything. Do this almost 7 nights a week, multiple times a day. I'll be right back shortly. Welcome back, everybody, to Western States Racing League here on Sim Racing Media. We get ready to turn them back green. Looks like we've got Bentley Glazer and Rob Gall in row 1. Row 2 is Jeff Hollinsworth and Dennis Fusion. Row 3 is Wayne Hutchinson and Javier Perez Torres. Bob Beltrami's up 18 positions. Jeff Schmeier just to his outside. Kyle McCartney up 18 as well, with Dustin Burns sitting in P10 right now. Bentley Glazer gonna have the button as they make their way out of this 3-4 combo here. Bentley Glazer making his way to the Geico restart zone, and he is away. Jeff Hollinsworth a little slow to react there, but is still managing to stay in P2 at the moment. Rob Gall just to his outside, but Wayne Hutchinson is pushing Hollinsworth towards the front, with Bob Beltrami and Kyle McCartney right behind them. So if they keep these 4-car combos, as Wayne Hutchinson almost jumps out in front of Rob Gall, but Rob Gall had a better run and Hutchinson thought better of it. Bentley Glazer currently out front, led the most laps of the race at the moment. Has been pushed by Jeff Hollinsworth most of the race as well. There was a couple times when they were separated, but they quickly found their way back together, so that tandem is definitely somebody to watch. Rob Gall and Dennis Fusion have been working well on the outside line. Just haven't quite had enough cars behind them to make that run towards the front as they get within half a truck length of the lead. Jump back a little ways. We got a little bit of lap traffic. Work their way around. Bob Beltrami, Kyle McCartney, Jeff Schmeier, after that early incident, is back up into P9. Earl Weaver sitting in P10 after a couple little miscues. Side by side behind him with Ricci and Burns. Burns on the inside, Ricci on the outside. Last week's winner, Christian Bishop, is back in 13th position. Ross Rollins in 14th, but has quite a few lap cars between him and the next car on the lead lap. Paul Krumrei is making his way back to the track after having a couple incidents the last couple weeks that was able to keep him out of the raid. Definitely glad to see him back on track. So Rob Gall is looking to push his way towards the front. Bentley Glazer just gets ever so slightly below that red line, and it kind of bumped him a little bit, slowed him down. And Hollinsworth was right on his back bumper to kind of push him going again. As Hollinsworth floats up a little bit and makes Rob Gall go up the track. They were able to avoid contact and keep it green. But those two trucks on that outside line, it just is not working to make any ground. They're not really losing ground this time, but they're not making any either. They can get another truck back there, they might have a chance, but Bentley Glazer and Jeff Hollinsworth are just too fast right now. They do have a couple trucks that have been working with them and not electing to try and swing out and try and make some passes, as Kyle McCartney gets beside Bob Beltrami on the outside and is going to try and get up to the back bumper of Dennis Fusion here and make a run to give him a little push to get towards that front. It looks like Carl Burke is heading towards pit lane maybe. They get a little squirrely up front after so many laps, and they kind of separate a little bit, and then they get back together and start running again as they're coming up on the lap truck of James Campbell here. See if Campbell's going to stay down low or if he's going to try and go high and stay out of the way as much as he can. Looks like he's trying to. Rob Gall down to the inside. Javier Torres spins a little bit, but is able to save it. Just got a little bit loose as he was trying to make that pass on the inside of that lap truck. Glazer and Hollinsworth. It looks like Hutchinson has had a little bit of enough and gets out to the outside and gets a nice push from Rob Gall there. We'll see if they're going to make their way up here, if it's enough. Looks like Paul Crumry. Man, missed a couple weeks and I can't say your name, Paul. He was going to work his way up there and try and give a push there, but not enough. He is a lap down trying to stay close, but like he was going to help that outside line of Rob Gall and Hutchinson work their way towards the front, but got a little bit loose and got into that outside wall. So that outside lane has now drifted back to basically the third row there with Hutchinson and Gall. Kyle McCartney's down on that inside line now, gaining a little bit of ground. It's closing in on that back bumper of Torres. Bentley, Glazer, and Hollinsworth keep basically playing musical chairs here. They slide up a little bit, then slide down, and I don't know if Hollinsworth truck's just getting a little too loose or too hot staying behind him, but he stays behind him for a little bit, and then you'll see him start to drift out a little ways to try and get that fresh air on the nose of that truck. Torres is working pretty good to make his way up here, sitting P3, up 19 positions. Kyle McCartney's up 22 as Rob Gall gets loose. He's saving it. Looks like everybody was able to avoid that. He just got a little bit loose there. See if we can take a better look here. You can see the 31 up there just making his way, and then all of a sudden, oh, man, like a little bit of netcode there caused that one. It didn't look like they really touched, but Weaver was right to his outside there. They were able to stay green and keep it clean. Kyle McCartney jumps out in front of Hutchinson. He's going to try and see if he can maybe get Hutchinson to push him towards the front. Kyle McCartney's had about enough of this sitting in the back. Kyle McCartney jumps back down to the inside. I don't know if he wasn't trusting Hutchinson there or got a little bit loose, but definitely not what Hutchinson was thinking was going to happen. As Hutchinson goes to the inside 3 wide. And everybody makes it through that lap truck there. Kyle McCartney gets a big run. Hutchinson stays behind him. Is going to try and push him if they would stay hooked up. But Kyle McCartney drops back down. They're just not staying hooked up enough as Christian Bishop is now up in the top 6. Looking for more. Drops down to the inside. Looks like that is the 05. of Chad Stearns. He is a lap truck. So Christian Bishop's trying to make his way around him. Kyle McCartney's on that outside lane. Is gonna have the run. And Christian Bishop's gonna kind of get slowed up here. Who is Kyle McCartney? Oh! Kyle McCartney gets hit in the side by that lap truck. Take a look back here. Let's look from Dennis's point of view here. Chopper here. So you're seeing this lap truck. Like that's Alan Bergen, maybe? Kyle McCartney just gets into him a little bit. Wayne Hutchinson barely touches. Dennis Fusion hits him almost right in that driver's side door. Sends everybody into the wall. So everybody's going to pit now. There we go. So Javier Perez Torres got off pit road the fastest, up 21 positions, spent 10 seconds in his pit stall. Rob Gall spent 9. But Bentley Glazer and everybody back there, looks like they got 4 tires and fuel. We'll see if they're going to get ready to close this bad boy out. Only made it about 30 laps or so on tires that time. Looks like we'll have a couple trucks staying out, taking the wave around as they stack back up here. Torres on the inside going to have the button. Rob Gall on his outside, which is going to split up. Bentley Glazer and Jeff Hollinsworth. Bentley Glazer down on the inside, Hollinsworth on the outside. Christian Bishop is now sitting P5. Wayne Hutchinson, after that little dust up, is P6. Dennis Fusion P7. Jeff Schmeier in 8th. Earl Weaver is in 9th, and Bob Beltrami is up 15 in 10th. Once again, if you are in that YouTube chat, don't be afraid to shout out who you're cheering for and who you think might win, or how you think the rest of this race might go. Got about 40 laps left. Will Bentley Glazer continue to dominate and bring home the checkers, or will somebody else take it from him? Torres has the button as he heads to the Geico restart zone. He is down and away. Rob Gall drifts down almost right next to Bentley Glazer there. Bentley Glazer goes down to the inside and makes the pass on Torres below that red line. He is just so much faster. He got four freshies and is making his way to the lead. But Jeff Hollinsworth got stuck back there behind Torres. And it looks like Rob Gall and Wayne Hutchinson are going to try and take advantage of that situation there. As Torres was right on the back bumper of Bentley Gilbert. And Jeff Hollinsworth comes up and spins Torres. You'll see Hollinsworth down on the inside and just kind of float up and get right into the rear quarter panel of Torres there and just spins him around. So that will definitely split up Glazer and Hollinsworth. We'll see if that leaves Glazer kind of hung out to dry a little bit. While we have another chance for a break, I'm going to take it. I will be right back. Once again, this is Sim Racing Media in the Western States Racing League, round number 12 from Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Drivers that took time, all of them within 3.5 tenths of each other tonight is going to be a very closely competitive race.
As the field works its way out of the 3-4 complex, the only thing that's left to say is wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point safety harness, because race fans, it's showtime!
Amazing looking cars already. Green flag will fly.
Well, oh, the rocket! Well, one thing that you're going to see at this track that we haven't seen the last few weeks is a surface that's multi-group. I think this is the first multi-group surface we're going to have.
After an amazing race at Daytona, we now come to the West Coast and Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California for the second round of the Way She Goes Racing League Cup Series.
Welcome back, everybody. We are going to be starting lap 69 of 104. Bentley Glazer is led most of the race. He's got the button when they go back green. But the man who's been pushing him through most of the race is not beside him anymore. He's sitting back in E12 back here. But we'll see if that leaves Rob Gall and Wayne Hutchinson and Dennis Fusion to kind of sort it out. Jeff Schmeier, after an early incident, is sitting in P7 right now. Kyle McCartney, Bob Beltrami, Dennis Fusion, all up more than 15 positions right now. Pace truck is in. Bentley Glazer has the button, making his way to the Geico restart zone. And he is down and away. Looks like Rob Gall was trying to get closer to him, kind of get that side draft and know exactly when he was taking off. But Glazer's already out to 0.3 of a second lead. Gall and Fusion dropped down in front of Hutchinson there. Fusion goes back to the outside. Hutchinson goes with him. As they all spread out, Kyle McCartney gets into the wall. As they all fan out 3, 4, 5 wide here. Don't know what happened back here. Go. Back here. All right, so everybody's kind of spreading out here. Kyle McCartney gets into the wall. They all kind of duck down. See anything there? Don't see. Not really didn't see much other than the slow truck of the 18 and the 31 of Rob Gall. So yes, it was. So this is going to be a little bit of a new restart here. We got Dennis Fusion and Wayne Hutchinson sitting 1-2 right now. Bentley Glazer and Christian Bishop in row 2. Bob Beltrami, Julian Ricci in row 3. Jeff Schmeier and Ryan Steele in row 4. Jeff Hollinsworth and Dustin Burns in row 5. So, like everybody last pitted on lap 61, except for Jeff Hollinsworth and Rob Gall just pitted. Ross Rollins, Al McCartney as well. They're all back in both 13th and 14th. Bentley Glazer, Christian Bishop, Bob Beltrami, Julian Ricci, Jeff Schmeier, Ryan Steele, Jeff Hollinsworth, Dustin Burns, Rob Gall, Chad Stearns, Ross Rollins, and Kyle McCartney. See if Hutchinson and Fusion are able to hold Glazer back there in that second row, or if there's something Glazer can do. We saw Glazer jump clear down to the apron to make that pass on Torres earlier. We'll see if he does it again this time. But last time he had fresher tires. This time they're both on the same tire wear here. The Fusion will have the button. Pace truck should be jumping in. Works his way to the Geico restart zone. Oh, and it looks like he might have spun the tires. Bentley Glazer jumps clear down to the inside and is going to try and make that pass before they even get out of the tri-oval here. He's still down below that red line on the apron, but he's still running away with the lead right here as Fusion tries to jump in front of Hutchinson. Bishop is almost 3 wide with Glazer on the inside and Hutchinson on the outside. Bishop is still stuck in the middle between Beltrami and Hutchinson. And the 97 of Jeff Hollinsworth is now behind Beltrami. He is looking to get back up there with Bentley Glazer and make their push towards the front again. Dennis Fusion is able to get out in front and stay in front of the 87 Chevy of Glazer here. See if Bentley's able to try and make the pass. Looks like he gets close, but just can't quite get enough of a run to make that work. Christian Bishop's on the outside with Hutchinson working as best he can as Bentley Glazer jumps out in front of Bishop and is going to try and get Bishop to push him to the lead. Coming out of 4, give that lap to Glazer there. The Glazer and Fusion side by side with Bishop and Beltrami. And we got Hutchinson and Jeff Hollinsworth. 2 by 2 by 2 they go. Bentley Glazer just barely out in front. Christian Bishop's giving him a push and trying to keep him there. Dennis Fusion gets a little bit of a bobble there coming into the start-finish line, but is able to stay in front of Beltrami, and Beltrami continues to push him out front. Hutchinson is all over the back bumper of Bishop, and Hollinsworth is all over the back bumper of Beltrami. So it does look like that inside line is just a little bit faster, because even with Glazer moved out to the high side, he just can't quite get enough with just one truck pushing him back there. Hutchinson is trying to close in, but he is losing ground. He's about a truck and a half back. Bishop is still just trying to push Glazer out front, so maybe he can get to P2. Dennis Fusion is just hanging on here. Looks like he's getting a pretty good push from Beltrami, and Beltrami from the 97 of Jeff Hollinsworth there. So these first 9 or 10 trucks here are side by side, 2 by 2 through the first 4 rows. It looks like the 91 of Ross Rollins is just kind of hanging out in the back there. Dennis Fusion is leading with about 20 laps to go pretty soon. to see if he's able to hold on the last part of this race. Bob Beltrami has given him a heck of a push there. He could, looks like he's losing just a little bit of time as I come into the start-finish line there. So Glazer and Bishop are working pretty well on that high side. They can get Hutchinson to close in a little bit, along with Carl Burke. Carl Burke is a lap down, but any way you can get help in the draft is definitely something you don't turn down. Looks like Julian Ricci is closing in with that high line as well. So we're getting close to having 4 or 5 trucks on that high side and that low side. Looks like Ricci slowed down a little bit and got down to the bottom line. Glazer will lead that lap. That bottom line is not going away either. They remain side by side down the backstretch. Dennis Fusion, Bentley Glazer, Christian Bishop, Bob Beltrami, Jeff Hollinsworth, and Wayne Hutchinson are the top 6 side by side. Super Speedway racing with 20 laps to go. These guys are putting on a heck of a show. Why don't we just take a second and do a little turn it up segment here. These guys are still putting on a clinic here. Side by side racing. Almost 5 rows. Side by side by side. Dennis Fusion on the inside. Bentley Glazer on the outside. Fusion floats up just a little bit there. Bishop and Beltrami are pushing those two. Then you have Hutchinson and Hollinsworth behind them. Got a lap truck of Carl Burke, and then you have the 05 of Chad Stearns. They kind of fan out to avoid the lap truck there. Looks like Bentley Glazer is going to be able to get in front here. We'll see if he's going to drop down or stay up there with Christian Bishop. Looks like he drops down and leaves Bishop out there to dry. Dennis Fusion gets bumped down the track as they're side by side and wrecking here. Back and take a look here. Looks like they're staying green. Looks like everybody kind of checked up and then just got thrown around there. Allensworth into the side of Carl Burke there. But back up front, Bentley Glazer is leading once again. Christian Bishop on that outside lane with Wayne Hutchinson trying to push him. Chad Stearns is making his way through the field, up 4 positions now, currently sitting P4. As our 3 wide, looks like that's Ryan Steele threading the needle there as he gets up and gets behind Christian Bishop. Wayne Hutchinson floats up almost into the wall there. It looks like he got a little bit loose. So these tires are definitely starting to wear. This is probably one of the longest stints we've seen. Last pitted on lap 61. So we're getting close to 35 laps or so on these tires. Bentley Glazer is still leading. Bob Beltrami right behind him. Chad Stearns is looking to the outside to get in front of Ryan Steele, and he does. Our pole setter is up in this battle too. He had an instant early in the race, got down a lap, but he is trying to work his way back through the field to get his lap back the hard way. And he only has to pass 4 cars to do it. As they fan out 3 and 4 wide here, Ryan Steele, Christian Bishop, and Brian Barnes. 3 wide through 1 and 2. Bob Beltrami is right on that back bumper of Bentley Glazer, trying to keep his position from Chad Stearns. Chad Stearns does have Ryan Steele on that outside line with him. And Dennis Fusion is back up there as well after that earlier bobble there on the screen flag run. We have 9 laps to go. Bentley Glazer, Bob Beltrami, Chad Stearns. Chad Stearns gets forced out into the wall, comes down on top of Ryan Steele, and that is going to bring out the caution. Oh my. Let's go back here a little ways. I think that'll look right here. So as you see, Chad Stearns floats up a little bit. Ryan Steele gets a run, comes down inside of him. And then Chad Stearns just turns left like he didn't know he was there. Sends Christian Bishop out through the infield and brings out this caution. So while we have a minute, I'm going to step aside again. I'll be back before we go green. right. Welcome back again to Sim Racing Media, home tonight of Western States Racing League. We are currently under caution with 7 laps to go. We'll reset this field after they get stacked up here, which should be, looks like this time. We've got Bentley Glazer and Bob Beltrami in row 1. Ryan Steele and Christian Bishop in row 2. Wayne Hutchinson, Dennis Hughes in row 3. Ross Rollins and Jeff Schmeier in row 4. Row 5, Dustin Burns and Kyle McCartney. We got Julian Ricci and Jeff Hollinsworth are the last of the lead lap cars. So we will make our way down the backstretch through 3 and 4. We'll have about 5 laps of a shootout. See who can bring home this win here at Atlanta. About how important it is to have that drafting partner. So it's a matter of who you're going to work with. Pace truck jumps in. Glazer on the button, hits that Geico restart zone. And he is down and away. Ryan Steele is able to stay relatively with him. Bob Beltrami is a little slow with Christian Bishop right behind him. Looks like Christian Bishop jumps down and is going to leave Beltrami out there all alone. But Bentley Glazer and Ryan Steele are 1-2. Christian Bishop sitting back in 3 as Ryan Steele moves to that outside lane. He's going to try and jump up in front of Beltrami. Beltrami's going to try and get to his back bumper and push him towards the front with Wayne Hutchinson and Kyle McCartney all in line out there. We'll see if this outside line is going to be able to make any headway, as they haven't been able to earlier, as Bob Beltrami jumps down to that inside lane because he thinks that is going to be the key to getting up on that podium. We are down to 3 laps to go as everybody kind of spreads out, making their way through. Looks like we're almost 4 or 5 wide. Hutchinson, Steele, Beltrami, Fusion, and the 91 of Ross Rawlings, and they're wrecking. Huge wreck. Let's go. Oh, that's not going to work. All right, here we go. Look at them, almost 4 and 5 wide. The 91 comes up. Ryan Steele gets right behind Beltrami. Hutchinson gets in the wall. McCartney in the wall. Steele spins into the wall, and he just gets sent for a ride. Go back just a little ways here. It's clipped. Kyle McCartney barely avoids that, and Hutchinson just hits him right on the door and sends him spinning through the air over Charles Woods and over Wayne Fleet. So, now that we're back under caution again, we will have a green-white checker. So if you're not familiar with that, green-white checker is they will line them up, stack them up the way they do side by side. They will turn the green flag. They will race around. If the leader makes it back to the start-finish line where there is a white flag, they will be racing to checkers. If the caution flag happens to fly before the leader takes that white flag, they will throw the caution, they will rack him up and start it all over again. We get 3 tries at this. So they're going to get them stacked up here shortly. We will see what happens when they turn them loose. Thanks everybody for tuning in on YouTube. Like I said, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications. Hit me up in the chat if you want to talk or, you know, whatever. Let me know how you think this race is going to turn out. Or if you want me to spotlight a driver here in these next couple laps, I'm more than happy to do that. So as they are stacked back up, Bentley Glazer on the inside, Christian Bishop on the outside. Ross Rollins has made his way up 23 positions, sitting P3. Just to his outside is Bob Beltrami, who's up 21. P5 is Dennis Fusion, up 23. P6 is Kyle McCartney, up 21. Basically, everybody in the top 6 has come from the back half of the field. The only one that hasn't is Bentley Glazer. So we will see if Glazer has a target on his back and these other guys start working together to overthrow him, or if well, maybe we'll have a repeat winner and Christian Bishop will win his 3rd race this season. So as the pace truck jumps down to the inside, Bentley Glazer has control. They come to the Geico restart zone, and he is down and away after getting almost all the way through it that time. Bob Beltrami is closing the gap on Christian Bishop, trying to push him out there so maybe they can jump down into that inside lane. But they get just a little bit loose. Bob Beltrami jumps down to the inside. Christian Bishop is left out to dry. Kyle McCartney is up to P3. Looking to the outside, if anybody decides to go with him. Not quite. Looks like Jeff Schmeier was thinking about it, but once Kyle McCartney jumped down to the inside, he stayed there. So we have Glazer and Rollins. As we take the white flag, we are on our final lap. We'll see if Kyle McCartney might be able to get a push here from Beltrami and Schmeier. Schmeier jumps out trying to get a run as they fan 3 wide. And there is nothing doing. Ross Rollins down to the inside, turns sideways. Glazer and Rollins are sideways. They're battling up front for the win. Is gonna be Jeff Schmeier wins the race after that crazy bump. Kyle McCartney in 2nd. Bentley Glazer hangs on for 3rd. Let's go back here and take a look if we can here. All right, let's go back here. Let's take a look. You can see Ross Rollins starts to get a run as Kyle McCartney is pushing him there. He jumps down to the inside, gets right in the quarter panel of Bentley Glazer there. Glazer and Rollins are able to save it. Schmeier and McCartney are battling it out here towards the finish line. And it looks like Jeff Schmeier just barely is able to win a .05. What a heck of a finish. Heartbreak if you are Bentley Glazer there. But let's see if we can really come to the start finish line, and that is just a crazy finish. All right, let's get our race winner here, Jeff Schmeier. How is it going, man?
I'm still alive.
Yeah, man, that was crazy. I mean, after being involved in that early incident, fighting your way back through the field, I mean, and then avoiding what could have been complete chaos there at the end to bring home another win.
Oh yeah. Yeah, after that first track, I had to use my spare car, so I mean, the pretty much the rest of the race, it was just hanging out on the back and making sure I'm there at the end, and then that last lap, everyone got all squirrelied up, and I took to the high line and came out clean on the other side.
Yeah, that was some crazy. I figured it was going to be Bentley and Ross Rollins there, and you guys were just sitting there right in the catbird seat when that little bit of touching happened, and were able to capitalize.
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't really planning on doing a run. I was just happy with the way the race went to just get a top 5. So, but yeah, I saw an opportunity, and I'm gonna go high and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. Well, anybody you want to thank on that truck tonight?
Oh, of course, I got to thank my dog bear team. With all the chaos today, we weren't able to help each other that much, but it was definitely a lot of there's definitely a lot of encouragement in the chat today. And then of course my fan club, my mom and my dad, I know they're watching, and my girlfriend's parents, they're all watching. I just want to say I love you guys.
Yeah, it looks like you got a Araya the Terror Tabby in the YouTube chat.
Oh yeah, my sister, yeah.
All
Love you
right,
too.
well, I'll let you go celebrate this win here, and maybe I'll talk to you next week.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Kyle McCartney, how is it going, man?
Good, Mike. How's it going tonight, man?
Oh, not too bad. I mean, that was a heck of a race, heck of a finish for Atlanta being more of a super speedway track now.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. I think I pretty much laid back the entire race, and I got lucky with the caution. I lost the draft when we had like the restart with about 30 to go, and I kind of figured they'd all wreck, and they ended up doing that, and I had fresh tires available, so I was like, well, we got 6 laps to try and get a win here, and then got lucky and avoided 2 different wrecks there, so that was nice.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like you were in the right place at the right time and was able to capitalize and bring home another podium here. I mean, you were involved in a couple incidents there, but were able to basically keep your truck relatively clean and, I mean, up 25 positions after not even qualifying. I mean,
yeah, that was definitely on purpose. I figured just ride around at the back for a while, and everything was going good until the lap truck kind of came down while we were trying to pass them, and that kind of started everything where I got put it in the wall when we were trying to avoid Rob when he got a black flag, I think for the restart violation. But it's all good, man. Came out of here second, so another good points day, and I'll take it. So
Definitely. Anybody want to think on that truck tonight?
yeah, got to thank Toyota, Snap-on. I got to thank my wife, my mom, my little brother Corey. They all watch every week, and thank you guys at ESPN for doing the broadcast, and Bob Beltrami from WSRL. He does a great job every week with this league, and it's a lot of fun to race in.
All right. Well, I will let you go celebrate with your fan club there, and maybe I'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good, Mike. Catch you later.
Yep. Bentley, Mike up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I got it.
Hey, man. Heck of a race. I know it's not where you wanted to finish, but dominating performance anyway for most of the race. Just a little bit of bad luck there at the end.
Yeah, it was still a lot of fun. I kind of like this racing. I don't like restrictor plate racing, but this is just different enough that it's fun. And yeah, I just, when you block that hard, you kind of expect to get hit. And there was net code involved, and I can't be mad or anything. It was really fun racing, just hard racing at the end there. I was really happy when Jeff was behind me, Jeff Hollingsworth, because he was my teammate, and it was really nice and smooth first part of the race. Then once we got separated, it was a battle. Really good racing with Dennis for a while. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely knew you guys were teammates because once you guys hooked up, you guys just ran away from the field a little bit. I mean, even if they had 3 or 4 trucks on that outside, you guys were just so close, and we're similar enough that you guys were able to maintain that run even though they had more trucks behind them.
Yeah, and all those restarts, like first gear was definitely the gear to start, but I get way too ahead of everybody, and they'd get that run. So then I was trying to always make sure they were 2x2 behind me, and then that last run, Ross was really smart and backed up, and they got single file, and then opened the door for him. So yeah, it's a fun race. I like this.
Yeah, I definitely didn't know what to expect when we were coming here to this new Atlanta, but definitely was an entertaining race. Had lots of good side-by-side action and a heck of a finish. Anybody you want to thank on that truck tonight?
Thank my teammates at OGR, and thank Bob Beltrame in Western States Racing League, and thank you for broadcasting.
All right, Bentley, I will let you go, and maybe I'll talk to you next week.
All right, hope so. See ya.
All right. All right, so that was the top 3, Jeff Schmeier, Kyle McCartney, and Bentley Glazer. We'll go ahead and take a look here at the rundown. So we got Jeff Schmeier, Kyle McCartney, Bentley Glazer, Ryan Steele, and Bob Beltrami round out the top 5. Wayne Hutchinson in 6th, Ross Rollins 7th, Dennis Fusion in 8th, Julian Ricci in 9th, Christian Bishop in 10th, Dustin Burns and Brian Barnes in 11th and 12th, Rob Gall and David Weaver 13th and 14th. P15 was Charles Woods, Wayne Fleet in 16th, Jeff Hollingsworth in 17th, James Campbell in 18th. 19th was Chad Stearns. Making his return tonight was Paul Kermerai in 20th. 21st, Earl Weaver. Carl Burke in 22nd. Javier Torres in 23rd. Angelo Espo, 24th. Alan Bergen, 25th. Barry Phil, 26th. Troy Campbell and Fred Williams round out the field. Had a full field tonight. I mean, 28 trucks making their way around this track. Had a little bit of everything. Some 2x2 racing, some single file, some drama at the end. Definitely something worth watching. And if you are Still tuning in on that YouTube, definitely be sure to hit that subscribe, turn on those bell notifications. And until next time, I will see you same time, same channel for the Western States Racing League. Good night.